tight end. Who you got in the top five?
So I got TJ Hockenson, Mark Andrews, George Kittle, Evan Ingram, and Dalton Schultz.
I got Kittle 1, Hockenson 2, Andrews 3, Ingram 4, and then Dawson Knox, number 5.
Nice.
Who you high on?
So I'm high on K Dotton. Against the Cowboys, he's my tight end 9. Consensus has him tight end 12 right now. And last week he only ran around on 24% of Tampa Bay's dropbacks, I should say. And just considering how the Buccaneers have used him the past few weeks, he is their clear number 1 tight end. So the fact that he saw limited playing time last week is a good sign for him this week. So I think he's going to go back to his 85% routes run rate he had in the previous 2 games. He should see a ton of usage this week. He's a rookie. He's only going to get better. Brady's only going to trust him even more now. So I think he has a ton of upside here, and I think people might overlook his low usage last week as a negative sign, but I saw that as a positive sign.
Yeah, I think realistically, you just got to kind of throw out that game last week. I mean, they played guys for it was just okay. Brady wants to get his passing record, so they got him the 9 completions and the whatever attempts it was, and then Evans left early. Godwin played like 40%. But yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing is, over under how many active tight ends for the Bucks, 3.5. Like, does Cameron Brate get healthy scratch, or does Rudolph get healthy? Because like they went away from Brate to Rudolph these last few games, but they one of those guys might get scratched for this. Like, it's not going to be Coquille. Yeah, he's a fullback too.
No, they love Coquille. Yeah, exactly. Earlier in the season it was Kyle Rudolph that was a healthy scratch. Lately it's been Brate, but
yeah,
I think Rudolph got hurt. Like he might not even play.
So that
might make their decision easier.
Yeah,
he got banged up, left the game with a knee injury. Who knows if they were just being cautious because it didn't matter. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really do think either Brate or Rudolph will be a healthy scratcher. They've been treating the tight end room like that, I would say, since like week 7, week 8, at least, where K Dotton is just the man. Like, he is their legit number 1 tight end right now. I'm gonna have to go with under 3.5 tight ends active if we're including Keith in that group.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he's listed as tight end. All right. Yeah, I like Daniel Bellinger this week. Let's not forget about him in this Vikings game, because I think you pointed out last week, like, he's running a route like every single snap almost these days. Since coming back from that injury, his route participation rates have been 83%. Then he had one at 60%, then 97, 94, 97. So in a playoff game, you'd have to expect him to be right up there, in the 90s again. So yeah, really like him. And this Vikings defense, I mean, it's pretty, they play a lot of zone. It's just not a hard defense to at least accumulate passing numbers, even if you're not always going to get it into the end zone. I think this is kind of profiles as one of the bigger giant passing games of the year, as we saw it in the first matchup. So like Daniel Bellinger this week.
Yeah, no, I love that call. I mean, the box score hasn't really been matching his underlying usage, but he is a 4 or 5 catch game waiting to happen right now.
Yeah.
So I think, the Vikings, just Richie James, Isaiah Hodgins have been playing so well. They're going to have to pay attention to them, and it could open things up for Daniel Bellinger. So yeah, I love that call on a smaller slate this weekend.
Yes. And it's like, you got a couple of 2-minute drives or something like that. That's when you could really just keep moving the chains, get a couple of catches, cheap catches. So, all right. Who are you low on?
I'm low on Noah Fant here against the Niners. He's my tight end 14. Consensus has him tight end 10. But this is, just obviously a tough matchup overall against 49ers. And despite Will Dissly going on IR a couple weeks ago, we haven't seen Fant's usage increase much at all. It's been Colby Parkinson who has benefited the most. So both these tight ends are essentially splitting, 60 to 65% routes run rate each. So just with the limited playing time and the tough matchup, I'm pretty low on Noah Fant here.
Yeah, I thought I know he got hurt in the first game without Dissly. So like 2 weeks ago he got hurt. And then so I was like, okay, is he gonna go back to normal? But he kind of stayed in that 60-ish% range. And Parkinson was kind of right behind him. So not too big of a bump for Noah Fant there. I'm low on Hayden Hurst. He's mainly because he's an ECR top 5 tight end. I just don't think he should be top 5 over a guy like Dawson Knox, Evan Ingram, somebody like that. Baltimore is number 7 in DVOA against tight ends. And again, anytime you have these divisional games, especially now, it's the second time they're playing in 2 weeks. It's the third time they're playing this year. I think you could get just kind of lower scoring matchups. Both of these matchups haven't really been high scoring to begin with. So, the tight end, you want tight ends in a spot where, they have a high touchdown probability. And I don't think it's a particularly great matchup for Hayden Hurst. So he's outside of my top 5 this week.
Yeah, no, that's a great call. I'm a huge Hayden Hurst stan, obviously, but he's my tight end 7.
Yeah.
But he's super cheap. He's super cheap in DFS though. I think he's probably overrated in the consensus ECR, but in DFS, I think he's too cheap this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're stacking with like Burrow or something, or you're trying to fade, you're trying to fade Chase, because that's really how you have to attack DFS. It's like, okay, who am I fading? It's like if you're fading Jamar Chase and T Higgins, somebody's gonna probably catch a touchdown from Joe Burrow. So then that's when you go with a guy like Hurst. But yeah, a tough matchup.
He has a higher ceiling than some of these guys. But wait, who the hell are people ranking over? Do they have him over Schultz or Knox?
Yeah, I think Schultz and Knox. I think. Yeah.
Wow.
It's more Ingram. Wait, one of them. Let me see.
Ingram. Oh my God. I'm like 1 to 2 points off from those guys.
Let's see.
That's pretty crazy. Let me see.
It's wild card.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ingram and Schultz.
So Ingram and Schultz.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, what are we doing for the prop?
Nuts. Let's go with TJ Hockenson receiving yards. Last week, Irv Smith returned. He looked pretty good. He had limited usage, but just curious if you think it's going to impact Hockenson at all. But I have Hawkinson's receiving prop at 54.5 right now.
Oof. Let's see. 54.5. That is, I'll go under just because, I think there's at least some uncertainty about it. Like I know Hockenson, and he had the huge game against the Giants in the first one, 13 of 16 for 109. And that came off the heels of he was like the only guy who didn't produce when Cousins threw for like 500 yards against the Colts. So like now I think the Giants, you probably want to make Osborne or Thielen beat you this time. Like I don't think you want to repeat of TJ Hockenson going 13 for 109 and 2. So usually that's how these things kind of ebb and flow here. So and then on top of that, you do have the uncertainty of, is Irv Smith just going to play the Johnny Munt role? Probably not, because Munt is a blocker, Irv Smith is not. So any snap Smith get would probably come out directly from Hockenson. So yeah, for those reasons, I will go under.